welcome back. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you can keep coming back over and over to hang with us and our wonderfully talented and creative guests in the arts and entertainment world. I'm Allyson Murray, and right now we are at the Intuitive Expose, hosted by Pam Denton in Syracuse, New York. And we're hanging with intuitive speaker, podcaster, Reiki teacher, Tinia Conroy. Thank you so much for hanging with us.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
So you do have a lot going on. So first of all, let's start with your intuitiveness. Tell us about your gift.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. So my intuitive gift started as a child, which I think a lot of people say that. And so as a child, I was very fearful. I, couldn't sleep in the dark. I was afraid of the dark. I think now spirit was trying to contact me and connect with me, and I didn't know a language around it. So for me, it was bad or evil. It had to be, because I didn't know.
Right.
And so as a child, I went through a lot of, unusual things, premonition, dreams, things like that. And then fast forward through high school and college, there was a specific dream that I had in college, and I have since married my high school sweetheart. And I had a dream that he was in a very difficult, harmful, evening. There were no cell phones at the time. And I had this whole dream that he was being chased with men in a truck with guns, and he went to a school in rural Pennsylvania. Anyway, the next morning when I contacted him and I asked him, how are you and what's going on, he basically told me my dream had come true, everything that I had dreamt. And at that time, it was really scary, and I didn't know what to do with it. But I also knew in my being that there was more to this, and that this would be unfolding over my lifetime. If you asked me then of what I do now, I would say you're crazy. But as life had it, I kept moving in and out of intuition. And then at 29, I was a young mom with 2 children. I had kids pretty young. And I felt myself very alone. I didn't have any other mom friends. And so I found yoga. And yoga was my doorway in. Once I started practicing yoga for myself and then teaching yoga to kids and teens and then adults, my intuition opened more and more. And so that's when I started to understand it more. But it wasn't until I started to get a good language around it and get a teacher to help me. Because you can have a lot of intuition. Everyone does, by the way. But it's just a matter of harnessing it and asking and developing it, and I feel like you do need a guide and accountability and a teacher for that, just so that you have boundaries with it if you choose to develop it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that you don't come from a psychic family background, or do you?
Well, interestingly enough, my grandmother had very prophetic dreams, and so, but my grandmother's dreams were always very negative and dark. So I was afraid of that, and that's the fear part. Grandmommy, she's not with us now, would have a dream that someone died or something really horrible happened, but she wouldn't know who. So she would make the phone call to every family member and say, what's happening. And unfortunately, at a very young age, I was 13 at the time, my uncle was 33, and she had dreamt that somebody would pass, and unfortunately, he did, suddenly. And it really rocked the family. And again, that was another example to me that this is not good. This is fearful. Right. This is not a good thing. So we never said psychic. I don't think I even knew the term, or intuitive, but I knew that grandmommy had a dream. That's what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So let's see. Do you do readings? You do readings for people.
I do.
So how long does a typical reading last?
So I do half hour and an hour, and now I do them virtually. So
nice.
Yeah, and I love that. So I do it in person and I do it virtually, and I've read for people all the way from New Zealand to New York State to whomever. I love giving readings. It really lifts my soul. So half hour, an hour, and I really like to give the person the recording. I find we meet on Zoom, which is a webinar-based interface, and and I let them have the reading, the recording. And the reason for that is really because in the moment, the messages are coming through, but they may forget and they can listen to it after. But I do feel like my readings are healings because of the Reiki work I do, and it's just guidance. So then they can listen and validate and take it forward.
Very good.
Yeah.
And you are a Reiki teacher. So tell us about being a Reiki teacher. What exactly is Reiki?
Okay. So Reiki is a form of natural healing from Japan. And the lineage that I follow is the Dr. Asui lineage. There's couple lineages. So it was formed in Japan probably in the 1800s, maybe earlier. It's hard to know the exact time. And so we have a natural ability within us to heal. Reiki is a hands-on healing. So if have you ever experienced Reiki?
I have not.
Okay, so Reiki is a hands-on healing. We have what's called ki or chi in the body. So I refer it a lot to acupuncture. Have you ever had acupuncture?
No, but I'm
more familiar.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes acupuncture is a Chinese medicine and Reiki is Japanese medicine or Japanese healing. And so in acupuncture, there's chi, which runs through the body, which is energy. Right. They call it chi. In Japanese, it's ki, so Reiki. So if you look at the word Reiki, it's Rei like the sun, ki is the energy. And so when you get a treatment of Reiki, it's transmission of energy from the practitioner, so me, if I was the practitioner, down through the crown of my head, through my hands, and into the person. But it's not my energy. It's universal life force. So there's light touch or hovering. It's not manipulation of tissue. So it's not a massage. And the person receives the energy, again back to the garden hose, kind of opens up the flow. And people feel really a sense of calm, de-stressing. It helps with pain, emotionally and physically. I see a lot of people with many different things. And the other thing I would say is you don't have to be very ill to receive Reiki. So you could be an everyday person to receive it. I kind of say it's sort of like a car. Don't wait for your car to seize, get the oil changed, right? So preventative.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's hands-on healing.
All right. Is your intuitive part and your Reiki part hand in hand?
It is.
Can it?
It is. Yeah, that's a great question. So when I'm giving a Reiki treatment to someone, the intuitive is there. So if I'm picking something up such as energy, if I'm picking something up that's blocked, I may be getting a message through from a departed loved one, I'll share it with the person. I do ask if this is something they want to receive, because not everybody wants to. You know, they may be coming for Reiki and they just want to feel better. But sometimes I work with my guides and share with them but it works in tandem.
Okay.
So the Reiki and the intuitive work does work in tandem. I can't turn it off. It just is.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What was I going to say? Oh, can Reiki wear out, or can you over-energize someone?
I would say no. Reiki doesn't wear out. It's because it's a flow and it's universal. So when someone receives a treatment, do you mean when they receive a treatment does it wear out, or do you mean for the person giving?
Maybe after, or both, actually, because does it wear you down too?
Okay. Yeah, no, so that's a good
two-part question.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I'll talk for me first. Reiki doesn't wear me down because it's the only one of the few energy modalities which is a giving and receiving. So if you can imagine a tube through my body, and the light comes through the tube and out into the next person. So as the flow of light is flowing through me, I'm actually feeling good and I'm feeling energized. And then so is the person, because I'm not giving them my energy.
Right.
So it's kind of like back and forth, if you can imagine. To your other point, if the person receives a Reiki treatment, will it wear off? So I feel that when they receive a treatment, especially the first 24 hours, there's a lot of processing on the physical plane. So they may feel better, they may sleep better. I get that a lot, like I slept really well. But I think it's working unknowns to us. So it's sort of like physically you feel it right away. And then the emotional and the spiritual part is working. But again, just like any other treatment, it's not just like a one-all fix. I wish it was, but it's something that you may need to do more often depending on the situation you're going through.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's see. Why do some people who receive Reiki experience various colors?
So, it's just how we process things. So some people will see color and light, and some people won't. And so it's really just because everyone is a sensory person. And it's not good or bad. So some people will never see light or color, but they'll feel really good. Some people will say they feel like movement through their body. Some people never feel that. I have people that fall asleep and snore. and I tell them the Reiki still works. I also have people that come and are crying and are releasing, and the Reiki still works. I have people that are chatting to me because they're chatty people. Like, I actually am working with 2 therapists right now, and they like to talk to me the entire time. And the Reiki still works. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so the Reiki will work.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. I think I'm getting the sense of what it is. Can Reiki accelerate the body's healing rate? And if so, how does that work?
Yes. So Reiki can accelerate the body's rate and the healing rate. And so again, we don't really know how. We just trust that it does. And so we kind of, when we open up to Reiki, it's for the highest good. So it will accelerate where the person needs to be. And that's kind of a twofold thing, because sometimes people have come to me or another Reiki Master Teacher that are in the last stages of cancer. And for the highest good, I may be easing their pain, helping facilitate, because it's not me,
right,
easing their pain. But they may not recover, because that's their path at this time.
Right.
But the Reiki in that period of time will assist them to transition. So it's not a miracle cure, but it cures the state of where you are.
Okay, I got you.
In the vibration you are in. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your podcast. So what is your podcast?
Oh, great. So my podcast is the Intuitive Women Podcast, and I'm on all the podcast apps. So that would be Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, all of that. And I've been podcasting 5 years.
Wow.
And so this show I've been podcasting for 3 years, and it's a combination of a solo show, just myself, where I do guided meditations, and I'll be talking about Reiki, things like that, solo. And I also have guests on. So I have a lot of different women on that will speak about spiritual topics. So basically spiritual topics. And it's one of my favorite things to do. I love my podcast. I love interviewing amazing people. And I love guiding meditations. And it's a free resource. So I always say to people, it's a free resource. Connect with me on the community. And you can find me in pretty much any podcast app at this point.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I know. So being an intuitive and a Reiki teacher, do you find that people think, oh, she can talk to spirit and she's an intuitive, that you must know everything and you should be able to bring forth who they want you to?
Well, I'm chuckling because my husband wants me to win the lotto and then the winning number. Sorry, that's not going to happen. But yes, people will have a conversation with me and every day, cup of coffee, lunch, and sometimes people will think I'm giving a reading. So they'll get uncomfortable or they'll ask, do you know something? Tell me, or do you see something? And so really I am very clear with spirit and I have boundaries. So when I'm doing a reading, I literally imagine that I'm putting a hat on my head, that I'm saying the reader is in. And when I'm not doing a reading, I'm me. So I don't believe that, and not that I turn it off, but I have to turn it off in that way, because I don't want to come up to you and start reading you and go up to so-and-so like other mediums and just be in the supermarket. I don't feel I don't think that's really, it's not the way I operate. I feel there should be boundaries, because I don't know if you want to know about such and such. It's not my place. If you asked me, I would tell you, and then we would have a full reading. But my hat is on, my hat is off. I still give intuitive hits, but if Yeah.
Very good. So, what do you want the public to know about you?
What I want, the first thing is, more than me, is that everyone can tap into their intuition. That intuition is not their sixth sense, it's the first sense. And the more that we tap into it, the more that we develop it, if we want to. That we really can live a very purposeful, powerful, happier life. And so, if this is an interest to you, keep saying yes, keep stepping in, keep trusting.
I would really, because this is such a mission of mine, I would love to be that facilitator. So if you feel called to work with me, you can find me. But really honor yourself and trust yourself that this is a beautiful gift we all have, and the more we tap in, the more beautiful life can be.
That is beautiful. And where can people find you, follow you?
Oh, great.
Contact you for an appointment?
So you have the podcast, the Intuitive Woman Podcast. On Instagram, I'm The Intuitive Woman. I have a Facebook group, which is a free Facebook group, and it's The Intuitive Woman Facebook group. And every Friday, I didn't mention this, every Friday I do live at 5, which is 5 p.m. Eastern readings. I do Facebook readings, card readings, every single Friday. And so you can join that Facebook group. I'm on Twitter. I don't hang out there too much, but I would say Facebook and Instagram, The Intuitive Woman.
Beautiful. Harry, do we have time for a game? We like to play games on this show. I think with you, I want to play, let's play Dirty Minds. Have you ever played Dirty Minds?
No.
We don't play the right way, naturally.
Okay.
We don't have time to play Dirty Minds the right way. So there's a little, you just open the book randomly. You just pick whatever little square you want. And then we have to guess what the real word is.
Okay.
There's 3 clues. You have to guess what the real word is. And sometimes you think dirty, and sometimes you get it right on. Hence, Dirty Minds. Let me
Never
go
did
first.
this before.
Break
Okay.
the ice.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I can't come too often. I usually come only once a week.
Oh no.
I help you with your deposit.
Oh wow.
I can't come too often. I usually come only once a week. I help you with your deposit.
I'm not thinking dirty. I'm a very clean person, very angelic.
Payday.
Yeah, I was going to say paycheck. I was going to say paycheck. Okay. See, I'm intuitive. I read her mind.
See? Your turn.
Okay. I throb when I'm excited. A massage brings me back to life.
Ooh.
Pumping is my business.
Oh, I want to say, like a tire pumper-upper. What do you call those? Air pump?
Oh, air pump? It's heart. It's heart.
Heart.
I throb when I'm excited. A massage brings me back to life. Pumping is my business. Heart.
Beautiful.
This was so much fun.
Oh my
I love this. This is great.
Dirty Minds, peeps. Well, guys,
you.
I've had so much fun hanging with Tinia today. I am Allyson Murray, but before we go, we would love to give a very special thank you to our partners, Krypton Radio out of LA, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services with Heather Reed, Embellish FX out of Orlando, Florida, Celestial Healings out of Liverpool, New York. These are the folks that share our videos all over the World Wide Web, and we hope you will too. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, let us know what you think of today's show and our guest. You can also check our guest links below. Remember to subscribe, log on, and stay tuned to see who we're hanging with next.
Thank you.
Great.